Luigi, what exactly is the end game of this government? Do they want to get out of the euro? Is there a secret plan, like certain economists think there is?
I don't think so. First of all, it's always hard to predict any Italian governments, particularly this one. I don't think that's the ultimate goal. I think that the ultimate goal is to try to change the relationship with Europe. And if this were to escalate to a point in which they can blame Europe for everything, maybe, but I think it would be more an unintended consequence rather than the ultimate goal.
Okay, are you nervous? Are you short? Is PIMCO short on Italian bonds?
I think we're cautious. I think our expectation is that this probably continues to get worse. So we don't see particularly good value in Italian debt at this stage.
Luigi, we also have this very uneasy relationship between Five Star and Lega, which frankly have nothing in common. Now, as soon as he can, will Matteo Salvini of Lega try and go at it alone, maybe fresh elections with a coalition with Berlusconi?
First of all, you have to realize that in Italy, it's not like the Prime Minister can call for new elections. Okay, so that is completely different from the UK or from most countries. And so Salvini, if he could, he would do that exactly. But he cannot. Constitutionally cannot, has to go to the president. And remember that there is a possibility in Parliament of a different majority. So if today Salvini were to say, I'm not part of this government anymore, let's try to go to new election, there is a possibility, especially if the Democratic Party will cooperate, to have a different majority. So it's very dangerous for Salvini to play this game.
Italy. Luigi, I'm so glad that this item came up. Let me show a chart, folks, which really speaks to all of Professor Zingales' research on trying to figure out capitalism and malaise. Here is a really successful Italy, manufacturing and GDP growing up, a huge middle surge of the last decade, obviously the collapse. And it's absolutely stunning to me, Luigi, how far Italy has to go to get back to any sort of former vector, former glide path, former good feeling. How do they do that? How do they extract themselves from the manufacturing malaise?
First of all, they have to understand that manufacturing is not the only thing that exists in the world. Italians do manufacturing very well, and traditionally they're very strong, and today they're very strong. But in Italian politics, manufacturing is still the #1 priority. I think it is an important sector, must be encouraged, but we also need to move to other sectors. My view of the long-term Italian malaise is that we were not ready for the ICT, the innovation and communication technology revolution. Our structure of firms, very small firms, controlled by family control, not particularly formally organized, were not in the best situation to take advantage of the changes that this ICT revolution brought along. And not surprisingly, we fell behind most in the sectors that gained the most by this revolution. So I think what Italy needs is more than a change in government, needs a change in culture, and that's not an easy thing to engineer.
What are the chances of Italy leaving the Eurozone intentionally or unintentionally?
Over what time horizon?
You tell me. In the next 5 years?
Wow. In the next 5 years, I would say 20%.
In the next 10 years?
I don't think that would go much higher.
So you're not worried that there's a mistake that actually will force then the government to leave?
I think that there are a lot of possible mistakes, and I think that the euro was a political decision, was not an economic decision. And the only thing that can break it is politics, not economics. And I think that if I want to say what is the highest likelihood is if Germany insists in having a wealth tax to pay for the Italian debt, the Italians will leave.